Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back in. Today, I'm going to show you another way to make delicious cabbage. Now, I've showed you cabbage steaks, I've showed you steamed cabbage, fried cabbage, but today we're making oven roasted cabbage. While a little bit similar to the cabbage steaks, it's still different and adds a little bit of a different texture and flavor to the cabbage. So it's going to be a quick and let's hurry up and get into it. Okay, so what we're going to be working with, we have our cabbage here. This cabbage has already been sliced and washed. I have half of a green pepper. We have one small onion, some extra virgin olive oil. We have some restaurant grind black pepper, which is a little bit more of a coarse grind black pepper. We have granulated garlic, crushed red pepper, which is optional. We have smoked paprika, onion powder, and we have some salt. We also are going to be using a stick of melted butter. So let's go ahead and get it tossed up and we'll go from there. All right, so you want to make sure, one, that your hands are clean because you will possibly have to get them dirty when you mix up your cabbage with the seasonings or whatever. Also, as you can see here, we got the cabbage kind of cut into strips. Some of them are a little bigger, but for the most part, they're all around the same size strips like this. That way, it just makes it easier to cook and has a little bit more uniform texture when you're done. Now, what I want to do, I want to go ahead and take my vegetables that we chop, which are my green peppers and my onion, and just kind of mix it or layer it through your cabbage. We will be, like I said, folding it and doing different things like that. So it doesn't necessarily have to be perfect, but you just want to kind of layer them so you don't have them all sitting in one spot. Now we're going to take our extra virgin olive oil and you're just going to go with a couple tablespoons in there. That's going to add just a hint of flavor that you get from extra virgin olive oil, but also going to help it from sticking, one, and help layer that seasoning through our cabbage as well. And then we're going to go with our melted stick of butter. Now, this is going to also help with the sticking, but it's also going to add a nice flavor and savoriness to our cabbage. Now, this is an excellent way of cooking it. I know we are always used to having fried cabbage or steamed cabbage, and now cabbage steaks are a big thing. But this is, like I said, another awesome way of doing it. And with us trying to eat better, it's good to do it this way because it makes a pretty nice sized batch, and we can meal prep and put them into our meals for the week. So after we've put our liquids in, we're going to go ahead and seasoning. So I'm going with my granulated onion. And we're going to go fairly heavy with our onion and our garlic. You know, there's no sodium whatsoever in this, but it's going to add a nice bit of flavor to them. And then we're going to go in with our smoked paprika as well. Now, it's good to have a fairly decent smoked paprika. It adds a nice level of smokiness to your cabbage, but it's also going to give it a nice little color when it's done. All right, we're going to go with our crushed red pepper. Again, this one is optional, but I do like my cabbage to have a little bit of a heat to it. And also, when you're roasting your cabbage, it brings out the sweetness in your cabbage. This is really good. I don't like adding sugar to my cabbage. I know there's a lot of people that do. I am not one of them. But when you roast it off like this, it actually brings out the natural sweetness in your cabbage, which is already sweet, in my opinion. So we're going with our black pepper, and just kind of season it to taste as far as your garlic and onion powder and your pepper and your crushed red pepper. You kind of know what your baseline is. You kind of know what your palate prefers, so go that route. And now we're just going to add in a little bit of salt. Now, we're just adding a little bit of salt. That's going to help with breaking down our cabbage when we're cooking it. Also seasoning it, but you can always add salt to your cabbage when it's done. So you don't have to go super heavy with that. So now that you got all your seasonings in along with your olive oil and your butter, you just want to go ahead and begin to toss your cabbage. Try to make sure that as best as you can that you get all your cabbage seasoned and layered with the seasoning. If you have to go back in a little bit more and add some more seasonings, then, you know, so be it. It's funny, it smells good already. Now, you could also add some minced garlic to this if you wanted to. You could, if you wanted to go kind of like an Asian route, you could add in a little ginger and soy and a little fish oil or a little sesame oil to it and give it a little bit of a nutty flavor. You could definitely add in some bacon and stuff to it that may have been that you've already sauteed off. You could do that as well. Ham. All right, so what I am going to do, I'm going to add a little bit more pepper into mine. And then we're going to go ahead and go into an oven. This is going to roast off at a 400-degree oven, uncovered. So we may check it about 10 or 12 minutes, see how it's looking, kind of rotate the cabbage, but we're going in uncovered 400 degrees. So I'm going to add a little bit more pepper to mine. And when it's time to throw it in, I'll bring you guys back in and then we'll go from there. Guys, here's our pan again, going into a 400-degree oven. If you can see, I'm using an aluminum foil. I know I didn't mention it. You can use whatever kind of pan you want. Since I'm making such a big batch, this is a 1 3/4 heads of cabbage. You may not make as many, so you could use a little bit smaller pan if you need to. Just kind of make it, use the size pan that you need for your particular batch. And I'm just gonna go ahead and throw it in the oven. 400 degrees, uncovered. All right, guys, so it's been 12 minutes. All I'm going to do now, I'm gonna come in, open this bad boy. You can already see it's getting some nice color on it. It's starting to wilt real nice. But what we want to do, we just want to go ahead and toss it. So we can allow all of it to cook. And you may have to do this a few times while you're cooking to allow, you know, all of your cabbage to kind of cook and get a good, nice little charmed color. Alrighty. So it's looking good. We're gonna go right back in and continue to let it cook. Bring you guys back here in a little bit. All right, y'all. And here's our finished product. You can see how it has a nice color to it. It has formed some liquid at the bottom. Not a ton, but it does have some. We got some nice char on some of the pieces. So, you know, again, this is a different way that you can make your cabbage. This particular style of cabbage, it does have a little bit of a bite to it. So it's not really soft or mushy like your steamed cabbage turns out to be sometimes if you overcook it. And that's another reason why I like this, because it does have a nice texture to it, as well as a nice flavor. And again, if you're not making as big of a batch as me, so we're going to have some for dinner, but we're also going to have some to eat throughout the week, then you won't have this big of a pan, one. Two, it did take me about 35 minutes to 40 minutes to finish my batch because it was such a large batch. But if you use one head of cabbage in a different type of pan, then it won't take you as long. So hope you guys try this recipe. I am going to cover it and just let it sit for a few minutes, allow it to steam a little bit, let some of these flavors come together. At this point now as well, you could taste it and see if you want to add some salt or any other or pepper or whatever to it. But I'm pretty good right now. So again, all I'm going to do right now is just cover it with a little bit of foil, let it sit for a few minutes, and then when I plate some up, I'll let you see it. We'll get a taste, and then we'll send you on your way. I appreciate you guys. You'll be back in a minute. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and get some of this cabbage. Kind of talk about what we did. We sliced up our thinly, added it to a large pan. Again, I had almost 2 heads of cabbage, so about 1 3/4 heads of cabbage. We used olive oil and we seasoned it to our taste. So I used granulated garlic, granulated onion, smoked salt, and crushed red pepper flakes. So again, really healthy dish. We're going to eat this throughout the week with some meal prepping. Tonight we're going to have with some chicken. I did add onion and bell pepper into it as well. So really, really good cabbage. Again, this cabbage has a little bit more of a bite to it. It's not mushy by any means. So if you don't like your cabbage, I would say more al dente, then you may not like this recipe, but you can still do it this way. You just have to cook it a little bit longer or cover it up instead of cooking it completely uncovered like we did today. So let's go ahead and get a bite. See how it's looking there. Lord, forgive me for not praying. Very good. Very good. Again, nice. The cabbage is tender, but it's like al dente. Cooked really well. Has a nice little heat to it. A nice little bit of salt. But again, you're going to add as much salt as you would like to yours. But it's really good. And I hope you guys and encourage you guys to try some oven roasted cabbage this way. good. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Until next time, God bless you. See you around.